All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Going to be touching on top prop bets on PrizePicks for March Madness. And we're starting out with PrizePicks because while Underdog is not releasing any of these top prop bets that we are going to be talking about on PrizePicks, hopefully Underdog does, and we'll do a separate video for that. But this is all about gaining some early edges. I'm sure some of these lines will get bumped. We'll see. Hopefully not, for your guys' sake. Let's go ahead and jump on into those prop bets. So this first prop bet is going to be a prop bet that I think everyone's going to like just simply because of the last 5 average here for Byrd. Okay, so obviously Gann is over in his last 5 games. He gets a matchup with UNC where they're going to be about 4.5-point dogs. So we don't really have to worry about a blowout on paper. The game total in this game as well is about 140. Actually, let me take a peek. So yeah, it's a game total of 142.5 on average here. And so looking at this, we can clearly see that this is the best bet on the board as well. Just looking at, guys, the average sportsbook line. So when we combine all the data points together from sportsbooks for blocks, steals, turnovers, and then the traditional stats like points, rebounds, and assists, the total would be closer to 31.9. Okay, the projection data also pretty heavily correlates with that line there as well. So those two data points are matching together. And then the PrizePicks line at 27.5 does seem to be a little bit too low. And again, looking at his last 5 games, you would argue that, yeah, it probably should be at around 31, at least 30. And so the interesting thing about PrizePicks and Underdog with their fantasy score lines is they typically differ slightly, or sometimes with the amount of games that we're going to have, a lot. And this has been a nice spot for us with the conference tournament games. Very solid days, especially on PrizePicks and Underdog as well for that matter. But it'll be interesting to see where Underdog lines come out to be for these, for the fantasy score lines. And I bet Byrd will be closer to 30. So this is a good early edge. We're going to be betting on more here. Now, the next game that we are getting a decent amount of prop bets for is actually going to be the Creighton game. And I'm a little bit worried because we are getting Ryan Chalkbrenner. Okay. And I mean that. Anytime this guy has popped up as a good bet on the site, the opposite has occurred. And I phrase it that way on purpose because for whatever reason, Ryan Chalkbrenner has been someone that we have seen some massive differing lines between PrizePicks and Underdog for. And looking at the average sportsbook line, looking at the projection line as well, we're probably going to get him at like 43 on Underdog. And we're going to have to bet the middle, even though the data is telling us to bet the over here of 38.5. Okay, that's the annoying part. He's always done the opposite. But we are getting a little bit of a game stacking opportunity here with Ryan Chalkbrenner. I'm going to keep calling him that, and we're going to correct it here by calling him Chalkbrenner. And then we got Neil as well for over his fantasy score. 2 bets that I like together. One, it's a decently high scoring game at 145. Nothing to worry about in terms of, points not being scored there like they normally would be for that team. It's a 2.5-point spread, so we don't have to worry about a blowout as well. And so we look at both those guys against Louisville, which Chucky Hepburn is a former Badger. I'm a pretty decent Badger fan. Love him. But he has a lot of turnovers. So what we're really hoping for here is that Chucky coughs it up and it falls into Neil or Chalkbrenner's hands. And both of them I do like. I think they are 2 bets that we can stack together and feel pretty comfortable with. And that matchup with Louisville is going to be a good one. So nice stacking opportunity with those 3 really good bets to start off the slate. And now, guys, I do want to point out one thing here as well. We are getting a free square for the college basketball games. And so what I always tell people is, if you are getting this free square and you're not being limited at all, just do 5 or 6 individual bets. So do 2 slip bets paired with this one, and then maybe, 1 slip bet with Byrd, with Chalkbrenner. You do it that way. If you are being limited, probably just run 1 slip out that's a 5 slip bet or 6 slip bet, and hopefully it hits, obviously. But I wanted to call that out. Let's go ahead and jump on into the rest of the bets. And so let's go ahead and continue on now, guys. We have seen the fantasy score lines throughout the day fluctuate a decent amount with some of these bets. Some of them were a little bit better as at the start of the day. Some of them have gone a little bit worse. That's going to be expected as we get more and more sportsbooks giving us their lines. And also with it being March Madness, we're probably going to see some public money influence some of the lines for some of the more popular games. We see that happen a decent amount during the NFL Super Bowl. I don't expect that too much here with March Madness, but it can occasionally. We are looking at Ryan Nembhard, who is someone that I do not want to bet on his under, but we'll go ahead and take a peek at this one. It is worth calling out that his projection data is much higher. The average sportsbook line closer to 29. And so this is a one where I honestly hope that the Underdog line comes out at 29 so we can bet the over. And it is worth calling out here, guys, as well. This game total 151.5, so decently high scoring game. And then the point spread as well, only 6-point difference here as well. So no like blowout here in the sense that we'd have to worry about Ryan Nembhard getting less minutes. And the thing with Nembhard is he can be an assist machine. He can get some turnovers, create some turnovers as well. And so going against Georgia, I just don't exactly love betting the under. It is one of the better bets that is popping up as well. So I did want to call that out. But we're getting enough other good bets that I don't think we need to go out of our way to target this one. So let's jump back into the board. We're going to see RJ Davis for over his fantasy score. Another bet in a game where we could stack it. So we got Miles Byrd and then RJ Davis. So if this game does end up being close, we hopefully can get away with stacking this one as well. And again, people that love looking at the last 5 graphic are probably going to like this one here as well. We can see RJ Davis have been crushing minus the last game there. And so we got 2 players that are on a little bit of a hot streak that are probably seeing their lines be a little bit too low and probably a little bit too low compared to what they will be come the game on Tuesday. Now, I did mention that a couple of the lines have been changing a little bit throughout the day, fluctuating a little bit throughout the day in terms of their likelihood to hit. This is one of them here with Swain for Xavier here. Okay, so looking at his projection data, about 25, which is right on line with the PrizePicks line. The average sportsbook line, however, is closer to about 28. Now, this is a game, again, don't have to worry about a blowout, only a 3-point spread. I love that there. And again, a decently high scoring game at 150 for the point total. And so again, just taking a peek at the game log, not exactly going to like that game log, I would say. And that's probably why we are seeing differing lines between the average sportsbook line and also the projection data. This is a line that probably will fluctuate, but for now, I think I'm okay getting to it. But it also does feel like we are forcing that bet slightly. And then another one where we are gaining a slight edge here as well is going to be with VCU. We got Joe here for over his fantasy score. Look at the average sportsbook line again, about 22.3. The projection data about 22. We'll round up there. And then the PrizePicks line being at 20.5. And again, kind of looking at the game log, we are not going to like that game log. Okay, and this is an interesting matchup here as well. I actually don't mind VCU here. I kind of picked him as one of my upset picks. Not a big upset pick, 11 versus 6, but still, I kind of like the spot here. Not liking the game log there. So maybe not one that we need to go crazy with here as well, but it is worth calling that out. Okay, we are getting some other bets here as well that are popping up. Again, these will be fluctuating more throughout the week, but I want to call out some of these other bets that we are getting that aren't fantasy score related. So we got just a bunch of these, just highlighting them for you guys to see. And then we're going to continue on. We do have Chucky Hepburn as well in that game where we could potentially be stacking. I mentioned Chucky Hepburn is someone that can be a little bit annoying to bet on because he gets a lot of turnovers. Now, a few nights ago, he did clutch up for us, hitting a game winner while also getting the steal on that play. That was pretty awesome. This is a big prop line difference compared to the PrizePicks line. That is worth calling out. So the average sportsbook line has his line at 35, but they're heavily favoring the under there. That is worth calling out, okay? Projection data also has about 35 as well. And if you look at his game log, he has been someone that does typically get the over here, and it should be a much easier matchup for him in comparison to Duke there where he didn't get the over. And again, a lot of his issues come with him having too many turnovers and then not negating those turnovers with blocks and steals. I still like the difference that we were getting there, and that is a spot that I do want to attack. And guys, that's going to do it for this video. We are going to be getting plenty of other prop bets throughout the weekend. I plan on maybe doing another video tomorrow and then another video on Wednesday because it is March Madness. We're going to get plenty of other good bets, but I do want to call it the 9-to-5 membership. If you guys want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, as well as some fantasy golf tools, head on over to 9to5sports.com. Get access to all the tools for just $10 a month, guys. You get all the tools that are listed here, as well as some bonus tools that I have highlighted there as well. All right, that is going to do it. And so just to recap, we're getting to the 9-to-5 bet of the day. Got 6 bets laid out for you guys that we are going to be placing here for March Madness, including some of the playing games, which will give us some fun for Tuesday as well. So the 2 bets are going to be Miles Byrd and then RJ Davis for over their fantasy score for the playing game. And we're going to be attacking some of the normal games. We have some game stacking opportunities as well, which we like to do and which we like to be able to do as well. If you guys don't want to include this one and avoid that just because there's no game stacking opportunity there, the whole point of game stacking, again, is to bet on the game being close and maybe a little bit higher scoring. If it goes into OT, obviously that should benefit us as well. It's a slight edge, not a big deal, but if you guys did want to do that, maybe make it a 5-slip bet and toss in the gimme pick, you guys could do that there as well. But that's going to do it, guys. Leave a like, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, let's keep cashing.